All right. Before we come back with keys to victory in our picks for week 4, there's a pretty significant headline that has made its way to the city of Pittsburgh this week, and one that, I mean, take it as you will, man. Take it as you will. Destin Adams, an Indianapolis Colts reporter for A to Z Sports, has released a list of 7 teams, I believe, who have made it known that they are interested in running back Jonathan Taylor. Now, I will read this list off. This is straight from Adams. He was given a list. In his story, he just straight up says, I was given a list. Here's the list of teams who are interested and have expressed interest in Jonathan Taylor. Those teams include the Miami Dolphins, the Green Bay Packers, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Washington Commanders, the Buffalo Bills, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have heard time and time again that the Pittsburgh Steelers will not bench Najee Harris for Jaylen Warren. It is not going to happen. Najee is their guy, and they believe in Najee Harris. Unless your name is Jonathan Taylor, apparently. But I think we both smiled and laughed a little bit when we got this report and knew that we had to talk about it. Your thoughts? I mean, do you believe any of it? Do you think that this is... I'm not going to shoot down Destin's report, but do you believe any of it?
Expressed interest, I think, is doing a lot of heavy lifting here, because that could be as much as like a phone call, right? Like that's like, hey, theoretically, what would this take, But I can't anticipate this has or would ever kind of advance past the exploratory, like theoretically, what would it take for us for you to give him up to us? Because I mean, it's not just the Steelers on this list. There are a couple of these teams look real iffy, because, just the Steelers are very, very comfortable with their running back situation. Jonathan Taylor would be an upgrade, but are you willing to part with like a first-round pick and more for Jonathan Taylor, who... how much does he raise the ceiling of your offense?
None. Let's just be realistic. It's none. It's not. There's nothing Jonathan Taylor's a stud. Don't get me wrong, but there's nothing Jonathan Taylor does to the Pittsburgh Steelers offense that you can't find in a combination of Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. And I'm not saying either one of those guys are Jonathan Taylor. I'm just saying, a running back, that guy, he's not going to do enough. He's just not going to. We talked yesterday or Wednesday about Patrick Surtain, and we're like, oh, man, I'd give up a first-round pick. Like, if the same asking price is there for Jonathan Taylor, I'm not giving up a first-round pick for Jonathan. I'm not even thinking about it. Like, what do you... The rule of thumb in the NFL right now is you do not pay guys who play the running back position major money. Why? Because you could find them everywhere. You want to know who, like, the most successful running backs in the league right now are? Guys that we don't know of. Guys that we don't know where they were drafted. Outside of Nick Chubb, it's like it's a bunch of guys, and I guess Bijan Robinson. There's a bunch of guys who are just like, yeah, well, this guy, I don't remember him getting drafted. You want to know why? Because it was like the 5th round, and the guy just came out of nowhere. That's just what the NFL is filled of, or you're Jaylen Warren or whoever. It's just, you're not going to break rule of thumb because here's another one. Nick just tossed Devin. I think it's Ochni, whatever his name is in Miami. Yeah.
A-Chain.
Shout out to him, also supporting the fantasy football team. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there are all these guys in the NFL. Running back is so replaceable. You're not giving up a first-round pick, and you're not giving up a first-round pick when you already have 2 starting caliber running backs.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, just Jonathan Taylor doesn't even add any kind of different dimension to this team. Like, it's not, we have a bunch of like tiny fast backs, and we need like a power guy who can. No, that's like not what this is. This doesn't add anything new to your offense, and especially like and then on top of considering how much you would have to give up, it just doesn't really make sense at all.
No, zero sense. I could pretty firmly stand on the Pittsburgh Steelers are not going to trade for Jonathan Taylor case, and without having any sources, feel pretty confident in my guess there, in my educated guess. That just do you think that, like, do you think there's a position on offense the Steelers would even realistically consider trading for this season?
Maybe like maybe another offensive lineman, like a guard or something.
Who are you trading guard for? Isaac Seumalo or James Daniels? And like, I could see like replacing Mason Cole, but like, who are you gonna replace Mason Cole with? Like, you gonna call Kansas City, be like, hey, is Creed Humphrey available? Like, is Philadelphia giving up with Jason Kelsey? Like, I just don't, like, offensive linemen don't get traded like that, and I feel like nobody else, like, you're not replacing George Pickens.
Yeah, I mean that's the only other one is receiver. But I don't even know. That's a similar thing with. Okay, you're going to trade for someone who is an obvious enough upgrade that you would want to give up some assets for it.
Yep, wouldn't make any sense. I don't think an offensive trade is even. And that's like crazy to say for an offense that struggles.
Yeah.
As much as the Steelers offense does, like there's not a place in it where you say, you got to go find an upgrade right now immediately. Like the offensive line, maybe. But like I said, like when was the last time we were sitting there and like a top tier center or not a top tier left tackle was traded mid-season? Like I don't have any that come to mind. None. That just doesn't happen. But Jonathan Taylor,
have fun in Miami.
Yeah, right. Like I hope wherever you do end up, all the best. It's not going to be Pittsburgh, and I could almost guarantee that one.